Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good day, and welcome to our episode 11 of The Theory of Anything, co-hosted by myself, Andy, also known as Paps or Dad, and my two sons. Let me introduce them to you, Ford and Devon.
Hello.
You all right?
Welcome.
Ford always goes
Ford.
first.
Welcome, Devon. He does.
Yes. There's a good reason for that.
Everybody get used to your voices if they haven't already heard you before. Let's say hello to Ford.
Hi, how are you today?
I'm well, thank you.
Yeah.
And let's say hello to Devon.
Hello, you all right?
That's Devon's voice. Some people say they sound quite alike, but
those people
I think
imagining-
regular listeners will probably be able to distinguish you both now.
Maybe.
Anyway, I hope you're keeping well,
Yeah.
staying
Good.
safe,
Yeah.
obeying Ford's parting remarks from the last episode.
Oh yeah, don't cough on people.
Yeah, don't cough on people. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wash your dang hands. Yeah.
Yeah.
Indeed, important stuff to always remember.
Yes.
But this, hopefully, I did want to say before we get into some pickups from that episode and any other things before we start properly. So if you're listening today for the first time, you'll probably hear us talking quite seriously about some of the stuff that's going on in the world at the moment. And we're here today not to diminish from that, but to hopefully be a little bit of an oasis of escape from all the other things and give you light relief, hopefully.
Yes.
A time away, light relief, because I think it's important for us to be able to still focus on good, happier times.
Positivity.
To come.
Yeah.
Positive message indeed. That's all I really want to say about that, but we may come back to current affairs later on. Anyway, we got a few things that people have commented since our last meeting around the microphone. Who'd like to share some of the comments that we've had from different listeners?
We had one from a guy called Tim, just saying it's a nice video. He enjoyed it. And then the guy,
Good.
Damien, says he's enjoying the videos as well, which is nice. And then
Good.
we had a comment from Trinity saying,
Oh,
hi everyone.
many people remember Trinity from previous episodes and also plays a valuable part in the production of this podcast.
Of course.
But now you can tell us what she said.
She was talking about last episode, obviously episode 10. She said, I thought this episode was great. I wanted to say well done to Christine. I thought she did so well in her segment, and hopefully lots of people have taken it to heart so they can help others who might be in need. Talking about loneliness and obviously Christine's segment in episode 10. She said, I'm glad Devon is watching The Circle. I watched it a while ago. I thought it was great. Would love to hear what he thinks about the ending. Keep up the hard work, guys. Okay, so the ending.
You're going to comment on the ending now, are you? Okay.
Yeah. It's a bit controversial. And spoiler alert, if you haven't watched it, I think it's season 2, I think.
Okay.
Basically, I wanted this guy, Tim, to win the whole thing.
Oh, yeah.
Because it was like really cool and everything.
Well, the guy commented on our video.
That guy, yeah.
Yeah.
The same
Sweet.
Tim, yeah.
Yeah. It's a £100,000 prize pool, but they revealed just at the end that they're going to split it into 30-70. So the 70 was whoever's going to win based off of the contestants' ratings of each other.
Mm-hmm.
And the 30 was based off of the public's ratings of the people.
Oh, okay.
So they get thrown in, basically.
2 winners.
Yeah. So Tim, he won the public's one, so got £30,000, which is very good. Very nice. I thought he would.
I wouldn't have seen that.
But then neither mine nor Beck's favourite won. It's this guy called Paddy won instead, the 70,000. And it's like...
So you weren't that happy with the ending?
No, but...
Was Paddy pretending to be someone else?
No, it wasn't.
That's not even
Was
interesting.
it the old guy? Who was the old guy?
The old guy was Tim. Yeah.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah, so I wanted him to win. He was very likeable. That's why he obviously won the public's choice.
The listener, watchers, viewers.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm not too impressed. And even today, Rebecca still keeps going, I can't believe Paddy won.
She hasn't got over it yet. Oh, dear.
Amazing.
No, so,
okay.
That's the thoughts.
There you go then, Trinity. You've got you've heard now what his feelings were on the ending. It'd be interesting to hear what she thought about the ending. And any other listeners want to contact us and let us know. I just wanted to comment quickly that we are getting more comment through the YouTube channel than we are anywhere else. But don't forget our email address. That will come up at the end of the show. and also our Twitter. You can contact us on Twitter as well. I'll leave
Those
that for
are
whoever.
they're probably in the description of the podcast.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
you're all good.
Yeah, that's right. You can get in touch any which way you like. Yeah. Be good to have that come back. Okay. Fabulous, guys. Shall we move on? Is there anything else anybody wants to say before we move on?
Let's knock this thing out.
Yes.
Knock it out. Okay.
Devon's segment. Subject.
Today, I want to talk about something I think actually is quite interesting. You may have seen on the news a story about Sir James Dyson,
Mm-hmm.
a guy who I could talk about for ages, of course.
Mm-hmm.
But he basically, and his obviously employees, created a ventilator within 10 days for this pandemic that's going on right now.
Mm.
So the Desperation allowed like a really fast-moving production and innovation that will obviously affect a lot of people very beneficially. So I was thinking,
I see.
I don't know if you heard about it. Did you?
I did hear about it. Yes, it was on the news. I did hear. I was aware that what Dyson had been able to do quickly. Yeah.
Yes, it's a new ventilator basically for hospitals. Yeah, it looks really, really good. I don't know too much about it because no one really in Dyson knows too much about it yet.
Oh, top secret.
Yeah, but yeah, they basically managed to reel it out. So that's really good. Obviously, it's within 10 days. So I was very, very impressed with that. So I was thinking, do you think within different types of desperation, obviously this one is very specific to the times we're at now, different things would be able to come that is beneficial to society as well? Or is there's some things that manufacturers are holding back on because there's just not the desperation for it?
I think so, most definitely. I mean, history plays that out. I don't actually have any examples to memory or whatever, but you always find that technology takes a giant leap forward when there is a world war or a pandemic or all sorts of things can push technology, I think.
It made me think about, obviously it's a very sharp right turn. It made me think about the Nazi party in World War II. They had like really, really complex war structures, and obviously tanks that were beyond its years and things like that. And obviously they just bashed those out super quickly. And just out of desperation of the army. That was very interesting. So it made me think, so if there was desperation right now for leaving this planet, would we be able to actually go and colonize another planet? And would tech companies be able to find a way?
That's the ultimate leap, isn't it, really, in terms of what mankind might be able to achieve. To actually find another planet to live on would be quite a big step.
That's an interesting question. I think yes. Because is it really that complicated to get a spaceship full of people heading towards a possibly colonized planet?
Well, I'm not a rocket scientist.
It's the distances, isn't it, involved?
I'm not
involved that are the
challenge. The first generation probably wouldn't make it, but
no, it's a colony ship. It would take hundreds of years faster than what we can currently travel to get to the nearest star system, and we don't know that if there's planets hospitable enough to host us when they get there. So
we have found some that are Earth-like.
Obviously
they're very, very far away. I think the nearest one is in Andromeda, so it's also
from
not
this
even
distance.
in this. So it's very far away. But obviously Elon Musk has already got this SpaceX thing going to Mars. Sorting that out, isn't he? So he's actually wanting to colonize Mars. And that's not like a go there, come back. It's a go there and stay there. Colonize Mars. It's like, gosh. But I was thinking,
it could not have all our human eggs in one basket, wouldn't it?
Yes, it was.
So if there was even a small outpost on Mars and we destroyed this planet, at least humans would stand a bit of a chance of starting again. I don't know what our existence on Mars would be quite like compared to what we've got here, but
I was also thinking,
how circumstances drive development is an interesting thought, isn't
exactly.
it?
Yes. I think would there ever be a circumstance that would be the floor is lava, we need flying cars or something cool, or hoverboards.
Yeah.
Jetpacks.
Like, are we just not having these things? Yeah, jetpacks. Are we just not having these things just because there isn't the incentive there for big
The
tech companies
incentive,
to invest in that kind of thing?
Yeah. You see, this is where if we knew what you were going to talk about sooner, we could have thought of some really clever answers. The problem is you don't tell us until you announce
I'll
it
have
to
to keep
the
it
world.
fresh.
Yeah, I know you
Wow.
keep it fresh, but I'm sure after the show's finished and finished recording, maybe I'll come back next week with some good suggestions.
Maybe you comment in the
possible
description below.
Tech developments that either have or will come from desperate situations. Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
Yes.
The
I think
longbow.
Yeah.
That came out of the 100 Years' War.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's true.
Gave
And I
Britain
think
the
about the-
upper hand it needed.
Oh, very good.
Yeah, you're welcome.
You do
I came
know.
up.
You know
Yeah.
your stuff. Yeah.
I know
When
anything.
it comes to weapons, anyway.
Oh, what?
Weaponry. I was thinking about the Industrial Revolution and how that was driven by circumstances. You know how I'm not up enough on it to know to comment intelligently, but I'm sure that society was at such a point where we were moving from a primarily agricultural industry into production. You know, the Industrial Revolution is where factories began to be developed, where farming machinery became mechanical rather than horse-drawn, you know, and things like that, and factories developed, and you know, as I say, I could comment more intelligently with a bit more time to prepare, but that I think
Google
that's
search.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
but
that's
it's
what
true.
it came from.
Like
Yeah,
a lot
whether
of tech advances are born out of the need for hyper productivity.
Yeah.
So obviously you can, as you say, do horse-drawn farming and just take a while about it, use a bit of effort, you know, feed your horse, whatever. Or so you can actually build this up and have something. Okay, it's a few percentage points more efficient. So let's invent this completely new thing.
Ooh,
so a lot of
Downton
tech
Abbey.
companies do that. Yeah.
Downton Abbey was I don't know about mostly. There was a big chunk of the story devoted to this concept that their land was being used very inefficiently because they were still using horse and cart or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
I didn't actually watch Downton Abbey, but and then they go on to start. What do they call it? Being more productive, I guess, because they need to be because of the times or whatever is changing.
Yeah.
They can't be as lazy as old-fashioned as they used to.
Maybe rather than try to show our ignorance of the past, we could speculate more.
And be wrong about that as well.
Nobody can contradict us. Speculate on the future. So, what will be the next big tech development? Because Desperation, I think it'd be something to do with AI. AI is one of my hot topics, as you well know, and whether it becomes a tech development that counteracts the negative effects of AI, or you know, AI is going to be the next equivalent to the Industrial Revolution. Yeah, but whether we have to
destroy it,
de-evolve or de-develop, because of problems that we might encounter with it if we watch too much sci-fi. Sci-fi is riddled with examples of AI going wrong, hasn't it? But we might find that AI serves us well, and there is no reason. But in and of itself, it's already a huge step, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm always amazed how you can turn any conversation back to AI.
I try.
Yeah, it's good.
You know, I felt we were floundering talking about the past, so
Fair enough.
just showing how ignorant we are. I didn't
I think your
listen.
AI point is actually very interesting.
Is it? Oh, good.
Yeah. I think, from my perspective, AI is not being birthed out of desperation or a need.
No.
It's being birthed out of people just fiddling about with stuff and just trying to get something because they can, not because they need.
Know.
Some sort of curiosity sort of thing.
Yeah.
I think
like, do we need self-driving cars? No. Or do we need a little box that is conscious of itself? No.
Big business does. Big business can save an awful lot of money if it doesn't have to pay a transport industry
I think you could be
move its materials around.
I think you could be quite correct in the long run, but where we stand now, it seems there's a lot of experimenting going on. There's a lot of like not actually productivity from it or a need from it, but like maybe 30 years down the road there would be a benefit. Whereas right now it seems like people are just fiddling around with things.
Yeah, I mean, if you go back 30, 40, maybe 50 years to look at a car production plant, it was teeming with human beings.
Yeah.
You know, working, putting a door on, putting the headlights in, putting the steering wheel in. You know, one
Sewing a chair
person
together. Yeah.
moving along the production line. You know, every stage was done by a man. Now, I think if you go in, I would hazard a guess that probably that whole plant may be operated by a handful of people, whereas it used to be operated by hundreds of people. So those robots have been proven to be a good investment.
Is that
for
what
the
you
factory
class as
owner.
AI?
Well, that was one example of robotics that's taken a huge leap forward. Now, I think the next evolution of that is the AI doing what the man not can do with his hands, but what he can do with his brain. So the office staff, you know.
So to be thinking, okay, what is a more efficient way of doing this process?
Yeah.
For
if
these
you use
as well.
Yeah, if you use a computer for your job, then your computer's about to take your job from you.
Yeah.
You know, and look how many people sit at a computer with regard in doing their job.
Yeah, who would do that?
Yeah. I think is quite massive and profound. Not saying it's a good thing.
No, I think AI would be the worst thing that could happen to us personally.
Yeah.
Not just because of the big world-ending events that are shown in films, but just because what do we do if robots can do everything? Nothing. There's nothing we can.
Sit around and listen to podcasts.
How do I earn money? I can't.
Yeah, well, this is like a utopian future, isn't it? I mean, it's like you have all these robots to do all these jobs, so that you don't have to do anything.
Yeah.
So all the wealth is shared around, and
you have
no worries or anything.
Not likely, though, is it?
But obviously, then you got the people who have to fix the robots or maintenance or whatever.
That takes us back to previous conversations about the Star Trek future, wasn't it? Where money is no longer.
Yes.
I think but one step towards that, whether we want to go that way or not, is what's called the universal income, not to be mistaken with the universal credit, but where governments just pay everybody a fixed income, even if you don't have a job. So you get given enough money. It might be, for example, £2,000 a month, just to live off.
That'd be
but
nice.
Then, if you want to earn more than that, you can go and look for work or do a job, or start a business or what have you. So that's the universal income. Some countries, I believe, I can't quote where or when, have dabbled with that. And
I can quote.
I've heard. Yeah,
I can quote Venezuela for one.
Oh, well, thank you. Well done.
You can Google Venezuela if you want to know how that turned out.
Yeah. Not well.
But really well?
Not well at all.
Oh, right.
Not well at all.
But when a major... Anyway, we're probably wandering off track now. Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit.
But interesting, yeah.
Well, I don't think AI. I think gravity boots. You know, when the Earth stops spinning, and I don't know how gravity works, but we're gonna need gravity boots, aren't we? That's what I said.
Oh, right, yeah. Stick to the floor. Yeah.
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 There you go. Good job. I like it.
That would be a desperate situation, wouldn't it?
Yeah. It would, wouldn't it? Yeah. Don't know if you'd be able to invent that while you're floating off.
Yeah.
I guess it's happened slowly, so you're like, oh, I'm weighing less these days.
Yeah.
It's no good.
Something that pops into my brain as well. So lots of things come to my brain, but there's some films, sci-fi films, who have it like the Earth's core is like running out of fuel, so it's cooling down. So humans have to go deep into the core to be able to stay warm.
Yeah.
To heat that, like on Matrix.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. No, I was thinking of the Time Machine.
Yes,
the Morlocks.
the Time Machine.
Yeah, that's right.
So it's like
often they go below ground because the environment's destroyed above ground.
Yeah, that too. But could we have these really cool underground bases and solve loads of population issues, but we're just choosing not to?
Yeah,
sounds about right to me.
There is options there, isn't there? Because as long as you've got a power source, then you can grow food in
Bit of ventilation.
hydroponic plants and things like that.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it could be a very nice existence, but you could make it pleasant enough, I'd have thought. And then because we're all on one plane, aren't we? There's only so much surface.
Exactly.
But
So
if
you've got
we
to go
went
up or down.
down, there'd be more surface.
And it'd be warmer.
Yeah.
Anyone who lives in England knows that warmer is better.
You wouldn't have to worry about it raining, would you? Yeah.
No. But it's the same argument. There's only so much surface on the Earth, so you go down, or you can obviously go up into different planets.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
That's
that
my
is,
section.
Oh, you've just blown my mind with that thought.
Well, go down.
We'll finish there then.
Yes, yeah. I need a carrier bag to gather up my line now.
Oh, my days. What a lovely thought.
It's just exploded, yeah. That solves a lot of problems, Devon. Well thought.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thanks, man.
You need to tell somebody.
You can't top that, yeah.
Excellent.
You need to patent that idea. Yeah. We could try it in Minecraft, see if it works there.
Yeah.
I know.
We haven't run
Zombies.
We haven't run out of space in Minecraft yet, have we? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, thank
Cool,
you.
thank you.
Paps. Segment. Subject.
Wow, how do we follow that? Okay. Let me introduce what I'm going to talk about. You may or may not have been aware that on the 8th of March, so just about a month ago, was the 42nd anniversary since the first Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy radio broadcast.
Come on, everyone knew that.
Yeah, 1978.
Out in the streets celebrating.
Now, who would like to tell the rest of the audience, the listeners, what's the significance of the 42nd anniversary? Because it's not a very good round number. Normally, you want to go
No,
with
it's not.
something ends in an O or a 5, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Well,
Before you got this.
Yeah, right, okay. Within the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy story, the main characters come across the answer to life, the universe, and everything, which is quite a philosophical, enjoyable thing.
Which is... Yeah.
42.
You're supposed to do a great big deep thought.
42.
That's it. Yeah. Yeah. So 42 is a significant number in the Hitchhikers universe. The radio series premiered on the 8th of March 1978 and was subsequently adapted into novels, TV series, video games, and a film. So yeah, I was right.
The novels came after the series.
Novels came after the radio broadcast. Yeah.
Wow.
That's a new. I didn't realise that.
Yeah.
So just to kind of bring everybody up to the same speed, you guys both know, and I think I picked up on my love for this whole universe of Hitchhikers, and was my eldest son, who's here today. Ford was named after one of the key characters. Ford
the best character, I say.
Yeah, the coolest character. Yeah. He's definitely the coolest character on the show.
Pretty hip, yeah.
Yeah, he's so hip.
I don't know. Maybe say Bobby Rocks is the coolest, but
okay,
I'll take it. It's fine.
Yeah. So, just to kind of have a little short conversation about Hitchhikers, and I want to propose that not in this week's homework, but maybe the next time we're watching a film, we watch the Hitchhikers movie, because that might be worthwhile to
the movie
and comment on. Yeah, the film. Yeah.
Oh dear.
Yeah, no, I'd like to watch it again. I know it's not as popular as the TV series, but
it's not bad.
Not as well thought of. But I still think I'd like to see it again and remind and have a conversation about that in the future. But for those of you who are interested, anyway, to mark the 42nd anniversary, BBC Sounds, if you've got that app on your device, it's well worth having. If you haven't, and get it, have released 13 different shows that you can listen to, including the first 6 episodes of Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. And there's some really good conversation pieces in that series of shows on BBC Sounds. If you have BBC Sounds, I'd suggest you search for, are you ready for this? The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy is 42. If you search for that, you'll be able to listen to quite a good number of different clips and conversations about the whole Hitchhiker's universe.
Catchy title too.
Yeah. Yeah. So the other thing I wanted to suggest we do now in our conversation about Hitchhikers is maybe look at repeating back or sharing some of our favourite quotes from Hitchhikers. Over the years, you guys and others in my family will recall me sharing many of my favourite quotes. I didn't know if you
in day-to-day life
wanted to share some with me now. So shall we have a little look? Maybe do one at a time and take it in turns, shall we?
Yeah.
So who's going to go first?
Yeah, okay, I've got one. Okay.
Go on then.
You did share us a list, and we picked a few, and a few from my memory as well. So that's
your
good.
Favourite ones, yeah. Okay.
A common mistake that people make when trying to design something completely foolproof is to underestimate the ingenuity of complete fools.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Can you remember where that was from? You don't have to remember where.
Yes, I do. It's when Ford Prefect is hanging off the side of the Hitchhiker's Guide building. And the windows have been designed completely foolproof. And he says that. He says, you completely underestimate the,
Very good.
Yeah.
Well done. Well done. You like that quote, yeah? What
Yeah,
about you, Devon?
Yeah. I've got, it is known that there are an infinite number of worlds, simply because there's an infinite amount of space for them to be in. However, not every one of them is inhabited. Therefore, there must be a finite number of inhabited worlds. Any finite number divided by infinity is as near to nothing and makes no odds. So the average population of all the planets in the universe can be said to be 0. From this, it follows that the population of the whole universe is also 0. And that any people you may meet from time to time are merely products of a deranged imagination.
Well done. Well done. Yeah, that was one I was going to quote. So
really?
Yeah, that was one of my favourites. Yeah, very good. Shall I go for my... I did a short list, and here's a few of them.
All right.
Here we go. It's right at the top of the list. There is a theory which states that if anyone discovers exactly what the universe is for and why it is here, it will instantly disappear and be replaced by something even more bizarre and inexplicable. There is another theory which states that this has already happened. Yeah.
Oh my.
Very good. Should we have a couple more each?
Yeah, okay. In the beginning, the universe was created. This has made a lot of people very angry and have widely been regarded as a bad move.
Very good. He has a great use of humour, didn't he? Yeah, clever humour. Yeah, very good.
Yeah.
Go on, Devon.
There is an art, it says, or rather an act to flying. The act lies in learning how to throw yourself at the ground and miss.
Yes.
I think it was one of my favourites as well. I've got that on my short list.
Keep picking your favourite.
Wow. Yeah. Oh, this is one I often use. Said Arthur, it's times like these when I'm trapped in a Vogon airlock with a man from Beetlejuice and about to die of asphyxiation in deep space that I really wish I'd listened to what my mother told me when I was young. Why? What did she tell you? I don't know. I didn't listen.
Yes.
Very good. Very good. Yeah.
My turn? All right.
Yeah.
Listen here, Free Eyes. Don't try to outweird me. I get stranger things than you with my breakfast cereal.
Cereal, that's right.
That's in the Hitchhiker's building, isn't it?
No, that's when he's trying to smuggle himself onto the Hitchhiker's planet. He's in a ship.
Yes.
Yeah. He's talking to one of the pilots. I think he's being weird. Yeah. That's safe.
Yeah, very good.
Yeah. I think I picked this one because it's quite relevant right now. Right?
Mm-hmm.
No nothing travels faster than the speed of light, with the possible exception of bad news, which obeys its own special laws.
Very true.
Yes.
Very good. Because I'm down to my last possible one, I'm just short choosing which one I should go for. This is a quote which I can't remember which book it was from, but I just thought it was so beautiful, and I wanted to. It really touched me when I read it. It says, "There is a moment in every dawn when light floats. There is the possibility of magic. Creation holds its breath." It's not a funny quote, but it's just a very beautiful.
I don't know
Poetic.
I don't know where that comes from.
That
Unless
sounds
it's-
like one from the book.
Yeah. Do you think it's when Marvin and Arthur are on the planet on Magrathea's surface?
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Maybe.
It's in the book. It's in the
Or
book,
when
isn't it? Yeah.
Arthur is
Rather
stranded on Earth.
Yeah.
Possibly.
Yeah, it could be after the end of the first series. It's definitely a quote from the book rather than. Yeah.
Yeah, so I did give the books a go, but I didn't get very far into it.
Mm. So there's a few. We've gone through a few there. I mean, we could go on, and I don't think we should necessarily need to do that. But hopefully, it's given you a bit of a flavour for some of the comedy and humour in Hitchhikers. Also, some of the beautiful language and imagery that Douglas Adams is able to write and conjure up. There's Trinity getting another quote quotes back some of the ones that I've keep using when I told her what we were going to be talking about in my section. She loves that when I say that I'm in the car park. What are you doing in the car park? Parking cars. What else do you do in the car park? I meet Marvin whilst talking on the phone at the restaurant at the end of the universe.
Yeah.
And a quote which I often, a line which I often use when trying to persuade somebody to eat something that they don't like. Come on, can you tell me what I often say then?
Say, come on, give it a try. Your mouth will love you for the rest of your life.
Yeah, your mouth will love you for the rest of your life. Yeah. So these things, Hitchhikers pervades many areas of our lives, doesn't it? And yeah. I'm trying to persuade Christine to sit and watch the TV series with me on video, but DVD, but we haven't got there yet.
Yeah.
And here endeth my segment, I think.
Wow.
Thank you for
Very
taking
good.
part and joining in. Perhaps listeners have their favourite quotes that we haven't used today that can send theirs in.
Yeah, comment below.
Very much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Very good.
Ford's segment. Subject.
All right, everybody. I wanted to talk about story tropes. Now, I don't know if you guys know what a trope is. Do you?
It's like when you've got a dig with something, like it you don't like a part of the story or something. So
Not quite. You can have good tropes and bad tropes. So basically, they're commonly reoccurring motifs or cliches in creative works.
Did you just read that?
Yes, I did. Yeah, I wrote it down. They're rhetorical devices. For example, like you've got the main character and he's got to be serious because obviously the script requires him to take things seriously. But you have a bubbly best friend, right?
Yeah.
To relieve the tension or come up with the jokes and all that stuff. So it's a bit of a cliche to have a bubbly best friend and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I was wondering if you could tell me whether you like or dislike some of the ones I've written down, or maybe even come up with some yourself that you can recall. So I've got one I like here. The good guy's love interest turns out to be the bad guy.
Oh.
So, yes,
Ooh.
exactly. That was down for my
What did you say?
Like Frozen.
Frozen, exactly. Yeah, that was
Yes.
the first one that jumped in my mind. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a Voyager episode I was watching the other day where this turned up, and in that same episode there was a Never trope that I really liked that turned up as well. So I quite like that episode.
Okay.
Yeah. What do you guys think, Tom? Yeah.
Yeah. I don't mind it at all. Obviously, it depends on how it's done. But when it was, I can't think of a time that it was used. So I was like, oh, of course.
Yeah, classic.
Yeah, I'm just thinking, Christy and I have just finished watching season 2 of The Tunnel, I mentioned it in our last episode in What You're Watching section.
Yeah, I
And
remember.
there's a really interesting character in that turns out to be the lover of one of the main characters, and then turns out to be one of the kind of masterminds behind the whole story line, really.
Okay.
And didn't see that coming, so that was quite a reveal, quite exciting.
That's good.
Oh, another one I've just remembered:
Oh yeah.
the first season of 24.
Yes. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Yes.
hmm
Of course.
The good guy turns out to be the bad guy, and if you haven't watched it, we won't say who.
Yeah.
Can you
Well.
remember?
Yeah.
Was,
Or
was,
shall we?
was that a love interest?
Yes.
It was, yeah, I thought it, yeah.
Spoilers.
Well, I don't
Is
know,
it ever?
because
It's the
Oh.
first season, 24. I mean, it can't be spoilers.
isn't Jack happily married?
No, he's not unhappily married. And he's cheating with this person, or has done at least in the past.
Shall we say the person's name?
I mean, it's quite obvious now. There's only
Okay.
one character who fits the bill.
Yeah, fair enough. But that was what was great about that example was that you went literally to the very end of 24 episodes. I think it might have been on episode 21 or something that reveal happened, and we'd grown to quite like this
Yeah.
character.
Yeah.
And
You're
then
thinking
it
it's all winding
causes
down.
you-
Yeah.
Yeah, it causes you to think, hang on a minute, I want to go back to the beginning now and see where her motivations were for doing different things. Anyway, yeah.
All right. Another one I had in mind was the Chosen One.
Oh,
You know, where you've got like the Matrix or the Lego Movie, where there's this
Yeah.
one character who's,
yeah,
and he's always just the normal kid or whatever. He just wants to be normal, but he's got these
Yeah.
superpowers or who knows what.
the last Starfighter.
Yeah.
No, that fell dead. Yeah, nobody knows.
No, I don't know
that.
Yeah, I don't much like this one, to be honest. The Matrix was a one-off where that really worked, I think.
Yeah.
I think you're
Yeah.
supposed to be able to relate to Anakin from Star Wars.
Yeah.
I think you're supposed to be able to relate to a character, and if you're special from birth, I don't know if it's very interesting. Because you know it's going to end the way it's supposed to end, don't you?
But then you've got all this whole background of the prophecy behind it, and is prophecy even true in this universe? Is there such thing as that kind of thing, or is it just someone's getting led by their own imagination?
You're saying that to say it's a bit like Game of Thrones, where like the prophecies aren't very reliable, but in almost every case I can think of, the prophecies are dead on.
Yes,
You know what I'm saying?
yes, but that's just some of the cases where it's like, oh, the prophecy in this universe can be relied on, or it's not going to turn out like the prophecy is just mumbo jumbo.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Hmm.
I'm trying to
I don't
think of
know.
a bit
I'm not a fan of that one.
Because
Okay.
Game of Thrones, even if it turned out that Azor Ahai, which was the Lightbringer, was actually a true prophecy, which in some kind of weird way it might have been, then I think for that journey of me thinking, is this prophecy even a thing? Like Stannis died or whatever. It is that journey of not knowing if the prophecy is actually real is still there, because I don't just say, oh, it's prophecy, so therefore he's that, he's the chosen one.
Game of Thrones is full of what I'm going to call counter tropes. Like they thrive off of killing these things dead.
Yeah.
You know, saying also things like Me Before You and Fault in Our Stars. The main characters die
Yeah.
because you expect them to live happily ever after or whatever. But no, it's just to make you sad, I think. But they're countering these tropes. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It got to a point where storytelling, whatever medium it was, became quite predictable, I think.
Right. Yeah.
You know, you could almost tell how the film was going to end, or a book was going to end, or a TV show was going to end by the characters that you're talking about now. And I think the writers, whether it happened about 10, maybe less than that years ago, but you began to see stories like Fault in Our Stars and like the beginning of season 1 in Game of Thrones and other things that probably you've mentioned, where actually suddenly no one's safe.
Yeah.
You know, you could lose anyone at any time, because you know Star Trek
Yes.
is well known for if you're going on a landing party, what do they call it? Away party.
Away mission.
Yeah.
Away mission. don't be the
Don't
guy
worry.
in the red
Red
shirt,
shirt, yeah.
because the guy in the red shirt's always the one who doesn't come back, you know.
Yeah.
Because obviously the key characters are all going to survive, but although Next Generation did change that with one of their main characters in the first season.
Spoilers.
Yeah. But am I wandered off what you were saying?
No, that's fine. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
I think if I could throw this out there, you mentioned Matrix. I think that this prophecy thing with Matrix, if you just solely look at the first film,
Yes.
they make it so you don't actually really know if he's going to be the chosen one or not, or if he's going to be a chosen one, or if he's just going to be not the chosen one, but be able to win throughout struggle. So I don't think they don't like, what's the word, convince you that it's not going to end well, but they do convince you that he might not be the chosen one. He might have to fight in some different way.
Yes, I agree.
The Oracle says that he's not the chosen one.
And if that was a standalone film, that'd be great. But there's a trilogy, and after that point, at the end of that film, where he turns out, he has got superpowers because he's super special.
Yeah.
From then on, it drops in suspense, in my opinion.
Yes, I would agree.
Okay.
Yeah.
That would be a good.
struggle.
That would be a good future homework. Actually, I think Matrix has got a lot of conversation to be had. Although it's a lot of it's already been had. I think, but I wouldn't want to just restrict it to the one film. It'd be worth looking at all three again, perhaps, and commenting a bit. Anyway.
Yeah, no, I do have a few more of these, but I'm just going to give us one more, I think, because I actually have a question to end on.
Okay.
The good guy has been captured, and he sits there as the tables turn on the bad guy. So there's a bit in Foundation, the books I was reading, that I wasn't so happy with. This one bit I really loved. It was it's a bit complicated. Anyway, this happens. That's all I'm going to say. And also in a Voyager episode, the bad guys have taken control of the Voyager ship, and the captain's sitting there, and all of a sudden it starts falling apart from the bad guy, and she sits there and plays a operatic track and says, "Do you want any wine or anything?" And it's just falling apart from the guy. I just love that.
They also do it in Ex Machina as well.
Yes.
The main guy is talking to his boss in his office.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, "Oh wait, actually, last night I was doing this and doing that. This behind your back," and then the whole system just flips around.
Yeah.
And then, basically hits him.
The big reveal.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Good example.
I do have three more, but I'm going to skip it. Well, I'll just read them out. The anti-hero, the plain Jane main character, where the main character's pretty boring, but her love interest or whatever has got everything. Anyway.
Yeah. Go on, I'll come back to that one.
And the black and white good and evil.
Yes. That's the one I like least. I think out of all the ones that you said. Which I think is why I like Game of Thrones. Well, because there is no right series anyway. Yeah. The first 5 series, you're like, oh, is this right? Is this wrong? Like, I was actually watching a video the other day. It was George R. R. Martin. Someone asked him, what's his name? Basically, the rebellion from before the series happened, was that justified? That's why he's not going to answer the question, because that's why he writes it. And he likes to not answer questions or leave questions to be answered by the person rather than by the writer.
Yes.
And I like that.
Right, now I was just like, so black and white. I wanted to ask a question. Are you secretly disappointed when a trope you like is flipped on its head, like by a counter trope, that sort of thing?
Okay.
So you're expecting it to go one way, and also
I enjoy watching something and trying to predict what's going to happen. I think we all do, don't we? Secretly, we love to try and work out in advance.
Where it's
so
going.
When something comes from left field and surprises me, then that's really quite endearing, I suppose.
So you're not disappointed at all.
I'm not disappointed when the writer has outwitted me. Yeah,
I was going to say the same thing. Even if it's a trope I like that's being flipped over, if I've not been expecting it, then
okay.
I think that earns points.
I think so long as it's done well, that's the problem. If some people just do the unexpected and it doesn't even make sense,
No,
I need it to make sense. I think.
Yeah, because that was my thing about in the recent episode of plot contrivances. I think from episode 9.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I'll come back to that. But when you just think, oh, no, that just wouldn't really happen in that situation. It has to be plausible, I think.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, but unexpected as well. Yeah, that's when it's most satisfying.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, if I didn't mention any of your favourite tropes in the segment, then maybe you just weren't listening, and maybe you should watch it again. That's all I'm going to say.
I think that's a good list. That's a great list, and I'm going to probably listen back to this and make notes on what you've just said, because you've given me a lot to think about.
Yeah, but think of those extra views we'd get. Come on.
Yeah, go back and listen to it again.
Rewatch value. Come on.
I was thinking of commenting about the Plain Jane one.
Yes.
How many romantic comedies have the ugly girl who suddenly, when she takes off her glasses and lets down her hair, is the most beautiful girl at the prom?
The one that came to my mind then was Twilight.
Okay.
They make a big deal of how she's Belle is relatively normal or whatever,
plain,
and yet
plain and boring,
and yet the attractive vampire guy goes right for her,
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
We're a bit tired of that, aren't we?
Yeah.
I think any of those tropes work well as long as they're done. Sorry, still work as long as they're not overused, and as long as they're done well. Then I'm not tired of them. If they're done badly or too often, in a lazy way, then no, thank you. Yeah.
Jolly good.
That makes okay. Fabulous conversation. Well done, Devon. Ford. Yeah. Well done, Devon, too.
Thank you. Well done to you.
I don't think I contributed quite as well. I didn't really get my head around it that well until the end. When it's going above my head when I'm silent. Okay, guys.
And now it's time for Random Chatting.
Time to talk about our homework. When we watched, hopefully we've all three watched now.
Yes.
1979 film called Alien.
Yes.
So who's going to go first?
Well, I think
previously. Go on.
I think first of all, someone should tell us what the story is.
Oh, really?
Well, we need to lay out for the.
Go on then. Let somebody else start.
So
you watched it most recently.
Yes. Yeah. There's this crew in basically a mining transport ship. They've basically got loads and loads of mineral ore on their ship, and they're going back to Earth on their way home. They are in cryo sleep until halfway through the journey. The ship wakes them up because they've detected a signal. In their policy, they say they have to go down to see what the signal is and help out. In doing that, the alien kills one of their, infects one of their guys, and basically brings the alien back into the ship, of which chaos ensues.
Nice.
Oh gosh, I wrote too many notes to comment on here. I think you'd get bored if I read everything that I've written here. I just sat there watching it with my notepad open and just comment. I've got a few things that I don't like about it. Some of the science is a bit dodgy. There's a lot I love about this film. That's why it got chosen as our second favourite sci-fi film of all time, didn't it? So it's from 1979. It's an old film.
Yes.
I love the opening is this serene, when we're it was quite menacing. The music of it was
very, very quiet, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Especially
but
the start.
As the title appears, it sort of develops, doesn't it, with the letters appearing. Yeah. And then the opening scene is where the crew are waking up, and Kane is the first to wake up, which is significant because he's the first to go to sleep as well. It went from quite menacing to quite serene. I thought, as the crew are waking up,
Yeah, that's true.
I was getting 2001 vibes from the start.
Yeah.
There's not a lot going on at all. It's like very, very quiet. It's very like stillness.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Did
Interesting,
either of
yeah.
you notice that there was, at the beginning it says there's 7 crew members, and yet there's only 6 people in the pods?
I didn't spot that.
Did you
Are
not?
you sure? Are you
Yeah,
sure?
yeah. It's because one of them is obviously a robot.
Yeah, but they didn't
Yeah,
know
but
that.
he did wake. He was woken up. Ash was woken up.
No, there's only 6 pods.
5, 6, 7. Oh no! How did I miss that?
No.
You sure it's not round the back?
Maybe.
It
I
could
mean,
have
it
been
looks pretty.
pointing away from the camera.
Do you think
That's
the
worth
captain
it.
has his own one?
I thought they all woke up in the same room. They would recognise that somebody wasn't. They had no idea he was a robot.
Depends if he's the last to go to sleep or not.
Yeah, I was querying some of the science, wasn't I? They said they haven't reached the outer rim yet when they were woken up. And LV-426, which is the planet, which is where they landed, is halfway to Earth. Now, I'm wondering what they mean by the outer rim. It can't be of the galaxy.
I thought it was the solar system. Sol.
Do you think it's the outer rim of the of the solar system?
Yeah.
But the distance between the star systems, our star system, our solar system, and the nearest next star system.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Distance between the sun and the outer rim of our solar system is minute compared to the distance between our star system and the next star system.
Yeah.
Because if they've left our star system to go to another star system to do this mining and bring all this ore back, which is what we're led to believe, it just did. Science didn't quite work for me. I'm not sure about that.
We have no idea where they went, though. That's the thing.
No, I know.
Obviously,
yeah.
the area in between star systems isn't completely void. There are still things like asteroids.
Okay. Yeah.
They might
don't
just
know
been good.
what they're mining. It was just mineral ore. That's
Good
what
point. They could have found something.
Yeah.
Couldn't they? Yeah.
They could have found something a little bit out of the outer rim and then be on their way back. But yeah, we have no idea.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is a good point as well, though.
Yeah.
Did anyone think that Dallas, the captain, looked like Michael Keaton? The guy.
He was actually played by Tom Skerritt, but
Yeah.
I don't know.
I was sitting there throughout the whole film thinking, who is that guy? I'm sure I know him.
Yeah.
And I just realised he looks like Michael Keaton. What's that? That's the way. I don't know.
There was a lot of sexual tension between him and Ripley, wasn't there? You know, there were definitely something going on there, I think. Yeah, I thought overtly mentioned.
I thought it was quite odd that you don't really know who the main character is until like halfway through, do you?
No.
That's what I thought anyway. I was thinking, I'm trying to watch this as if I've never seen it before, and I don't actually pick up that Ripley's the main character.
Yeah.
Because she is, isn't she? Yeah.
Because she's the last one left, basically.
Yeah.
If one was the last one left, then they'll be the main character at that point. She's not really. She hasn't got a ridiculous amount of screen time compared to everyone else.
That's it. Yeah.
Oh, a couple of other technical things. Can I mention? The sound effects of the computers are what I call interesting.
Yes.
Yeah. And all that noise.
Very harsh.
Everything. Yeah.
Yeah. And I thought, really? I know this is 1979, but that's not where we've gone with technology, is it? Unless we're going to go backwards. Because also, when they were having interference while they were on the planet, interference was analog interference, not digital interference.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Digital interference is either on or off, and it's blocky.
Yeah, buffering.
You know, when, whereas theirs was
static.
Static, yeah. So,
well, they couldn't have guessed that 50 years ago, could they?
No, I know, but that just makes me laugh. That's all. Yeah. A
40.
lot of my problems with it aren't really fair, to be honest.
Right. Okay, that's right.
Yeah.
I was going to say it's kind of like similar to that, just in the oldish feel of it. I was going to say there's lots of different environments in the ship. It kind of makes the ship feel quite genuine because you've got like the area of the little chair that's very white and there's sort of flashing lights.
Yes.
Or there's the area underneath with the chains hanging from the roof with water dripping down and things like that. So there's different areas that feel very different and it kind of immerses you a bit better and it gives you a feel of the whole ship.
Yeah.
Rather than just this is a bridge and that's what you need to see or whatever. In a lot of sci-fi.
when I watched this film, and I wasn't probably old enough to watch it when it first came out, I watched it on VHS video around at my friend's house, and that's what impacted me the most was the realism, the gritty. Till this came out, sci-fi had always been quite glossy and laser beams and things like that. There's like a flamethrower and a net, and a cattle prod. There's no lightsabers
or
and
anything.
blasters and and they do have one projectile weapon which she shoots the alien
It's like a grapple, isn't it?
and that's the only projectile weapon we see in the whole film. And I thought this is really kind of down to earth stuff, even though it's set in the future.
But it's supposed to be like, obviously, it's like a mining transport ship. It's supposed to be that kind of gritty thing. So I think I nailed it on the head. Sure.
I've got another technical problem. I know my problems are all. It's spoken as they're taking off from the planet. You hear one of the crew say, "Engage artificial gravity."
Yeah, I heard that.
Yeah. Now, This is a technical thing about that drop ship that they were in goes and reconnects with the main refinery ship. Yeah, because we see it leave to go down to the planet, so we know that that's just part of the drop ship. That they're in. Then later we see the escape pod that she uses to get away, which apparently is called Narcissus. I didn't know if you know that. So you had Nostromo is the name of the whole refinery ship. I don't know what the name of the dropship is, but Narcissus is the name of the escape pod, and that actually is my chosen name for one of my ships in Elite Dangerous, by the way. Anyway, but anyway, this artificial gravity that they engage, obviously, once they leave the atmosphere to go back to the main refinery ship, I wonder when they're then later hunting around the ship for the alien, are they encroaching into areas which are part of the refinery ship, which I believe they are?
Yeah, I would have thought so.
I think so.
Now, we know science, the only way you can create artificial gravity is by spinning something. That's why on lots of science fiction spaceships, you see a rotational effect given to them, So you can't just switch on and off an artificial gravity unless you've got those gravity boots that you were talking about earlier.
Yes.
So we are given to presume that this artificial gravity not only goes on in their dropship, but also it must be a effect that is also enabled around the whole of the refinery ship as well, which I thought was a bit implausible.
A lot of sci-fi shows do that, though. They assume that there's some sort of technology where they can just flip a switch and it turns it on.
Yeah.
Like Star Trek, all sorts of ships where there's nothing spinning or whatever.
Because if you've got a ship that's spinning, then you're going to be on the wall.
Mm-hmm. But that's where they put the habitation zones around the edges.
Is it 2001 that has that?
Yes, that's right. Yeah, which predates
you're
this
running
film.
around it. Yeah, it predates it.
Yeah.
But I think they're using technology, which is why they can just turn it off and on. They'd be like, okay, hit this switch, and it's this generator that artificially creates gravity. Yeah. I think that's a given.
So
they're assuming technology as well.
Yeah, artificial gravity was a problem for me, but I'm main technical nerd now about that. So, Go on. Sorry. No, I've said enough. Carry on. Yeah, you love what?
I love the way when they get onto the planet, they go out in their in the suits and they're going into the ship or whatever, and you can see steam blowing out the top. It's like attention to detail. Like that's the air that they've used or whatever like that. I thought that was really good. Yeah. Apparently, in that scene, these people in suits, they're actually kids.
Really?
Yeah. The kid actors making the background look bigger.
I never knew that. Wow.
Yeah, apparently.
Wow.
It's quite a clever trick, I think.
Yeah, to scale, so the sets didn't have to be so big.
Yeah, or at least, yeah.
Half the size, really, yeah. How clever. Yeah. Wow.
slow-paced film as well, isn't it? It's not like to an hour in until it starts going.
No.
Which I thought was quite interesting.
I don't know about this.
Oh,
I think as soon as they are down inside the alien ship, that's when it's kind of like starting pacing. That's when I thought the action started.
Yeah.
Really?
That's not like an hour in. That's like 20 minutes in. Yeah, that's why I think it's like, oh, okay, now there's a thing going on.
Well, quite frankly, a lot of films start with an action scene to get you interested. So even 20 minutes is quite late.
Yeah,
if that's when you think the action starts.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I was going to say as well, it uses silence a lot to build tension.
Yeah.
Which is obviously very different from today's horror. Well, some horror films today. Which obviously it uses just lots of noise and lots of bangs and flashes and everything. See, it does use some of those sometimes, jump scares, but most of the time that's off the back of building silence. And I had it on mute by accident and didn't realise.
That's
I was used to it being just quiet.
Yeah.
Wow. That's an interesting thing, because as soon as you first see the alien, so what's his name? Kane goes into the eggs and actually knocks one of them. It wakes up the egg. Thing jumps on his face, and then it quick cuts to outside the ship. I thought that's really interesting because, like you say, we're 20 minutes in. The first interesting thing's happening, and we're cutting away from it.
Yeah.
I thought it was very interesting the way they decided to not show things. Like the alien itself, you don't see it very much.
No, they don't. And Ridley Scott deliberately didn't want us to see the alien in its fullness, in its complete.
Is that because it looks stupid?
Yeah. There was a cut scene. Yeah, actually, there's a cut scene on the DVD that shows you, the clip, what they call them, the deleted scenes, where you see the alien and it looks too human-like for it to be. Yeah, it just looks like a man dressed in an alien costume, and he cut that. He cut that scene out because it spoiled the illusion of what the alien actually looked like.
I did think that several times throughout the film. I think, well, in the newer Alien films, like they don't look anything like that. They're a lot skinnier, or the head is very disproportional to their body, but more and things like that. More claw-like as well, rather than hands. Yeah.
Since we're talking about deleted scenes, apparently there is one, I've not seen it, but where Ripley goes into this area and there's the crew members, they're cocooned up, assumably, to reproduce more aliens. So I thought that was interesting. You see, what's his name, Dallas, say, kill me, or whatever.
Kill me, yeah. I remember reading that in the book, so I did read this book.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was very powerful,
But in the theatrical cut, whatever, you don't see, you don't know what happens to these people. You just assume they die.
Yeah. There's only Dallas and Brett that get taken away. The others, you see their bodies after they've been killed, but
right, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Was anyone else really annoyed by Lambert?
The
woman.
What?
I was quite annoyed by her.
Oh man, I couldn't
guy was shouting at her to move away.
Yeah.
Just move.
Well, she froze because of fear, didn't she?
She's still screaming though, man.
Apparently, that actress, she played for the role of Ripley. She was going to be the main character. She had more experience of Ripley, but they apparently the director wanted her to be the audience in the film.
Yeah.
So when she's panicking, it's trying to say that yes, there's someone here that understands how you feel as an audience member.
Yeah.
Apparently.
Gotcha.
Which I thought was irritating.
Anyway, what else can I? Have you got anything else you want
probably
to say?
wrap up unless there's anything.
I could talk about this for another half an hour.
Time.
We all thought, but when we first saw that film, we all thought that Alien 2, or what came to be Aliens, which came out many years later, we all thought that it was going to be in the cat, obviously.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it didn't turn out that way. The cat does survive in Aliens, doesn't it?
I feel sorry for that cat. At the end, she's really jostling that back box around.
Yeah, she just throws him down, doesn't she?
Yeah, but fuck it.
And do you remember we had a cat once? Do you remember?
Oh yes.
Yeah, I was going to say this. Yeah. We had the one that looked pretty much exactly like that one, didn't we?
Yeah.
Ginger cat.
We had a Ginger
Jones.
Tom, and we called him Jones. Yeah.
Yeah, Jonesy.
Yeah. Very good.
Yeah.
Oh, there's loads more I could say, but anyway, the final thing I wanted to say was, if you do watch through the credits at the end, which me being the nerd I am, I counted the number of named credits. Guess how many people were involved in making this film?
Too many.
How many?
If I tell you it was less than 100, would you believe me?
No,
Less
I
than
would
100
believe you.
people.
really.
Really?
You're a very
just
reliable source.
Look at today's filmmaking and
Yeah.
how many people are involved in making that.
It's
And look what
ridiculous,
they've done. 98 people are credited
Wow.
in making this film. That's including the cast as well,
Yeah.
technical staff and the cast. I thought that was a phenomenal thing to think about, really. But anyway,
So how many overly sensitive eggs out of 10 would you give it?
I always look forward to your
Dozen eggs? Or maybe should go out of a dozen.
Even though I've
Poked holes.
poked holes in some technical stuff,
Yeah.
it's still one of my favourite films of all time, and so I've got to give it a 9.5.
Oh, a 9.5.
Wow.
Oh, that's almost
Yeah.
perfect, even though
Yeah,
showing
I
how bad
know.
it is.
Yeah, I know.
Flipping it.
Just because of so much about it, it's beautiful.
I think
I still don't think it's a horror film.
No.
I think it tried to
Anyway.
be. I think it probably was when it was released, but
Yeah.
I would give it 8
Out of 12?
out of 10.
Oh, okay. Not a dozen eggs.
Oh,
no,
did you say out of 12?
I don't know. We're winging this, aren't we?
Yeah.
No, I'd say about 8 as well, to be honest. 8 out of 10 overly sensitive eggs.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Good.
Can
description.
recommend.
Good.
It's homework time and goodbye.
Homework time. Okay. Who's going to tell us about this homework?
Well, technically,
What do you
it was my chance to pick some music, but I got a recommendation because I don't know music very well, from one of our listeners.
Okay.
He said to listen to Noah and the Whale, Last Night on Earth.
Iconic duo.
Right.
Yes, Noah and a whale. Apparently, Last Night on Earth is the third studio album by the English indie folk band. It was released in March of 2012, and it
11.
peaked. What?
11.
Who said he won?
Oh, sorry.
Okay, I guess you're right. Yeah, and it peaked at number 8 in the UK album charts. So it should be quite good, I'd assume.
I think it's going to
Yeah.
be new to all of us because obviously I never heard of it before.
No, never mind. Quite frankly.
Yeah. So,
Okay, so our ears will love us for the rest of our lives.
exactly.
Possibly.
Let's hope so.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Ford, and thank you. Who was it? Whoever suggested it?
This was a Timothy, that was.
Another different Tim.
Another different Timothy. Okay.
Oh, 3 Tims in one episode.
Yeah. Just to remind you all that we are on all the major platforms for podcasting and YouTube, where most people seem to be listening to us, and our Twitter. You can Twitter us on @theoryofanything with TING at the end, and or email us at theoryofanything@hotmail.com. Look after each other out there. Stay safe. If anybody is struggling at this time, we're all Christians and we are praying, obviously. Get in touch if there's anything you'd like us to be praying for you. Where our heart is anyway. We love you all. We want to be there for anyone who is struggling at this time. So offer you some support and prayer. Okay, guys, you take care of yourselves.
Yep, you too.
Yeah, and we look forward to seeing you all around the microphone again.
Yay.
Bye.